What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran, and we're going back to their 1983 album, Seven and the Ragged Tiger. Just received this, excited to start going through it, and indeed, the first track, the Reflex, didn't recognize it by name, even the first 10-20 seconds didn't really hit me, and then when we got about 30-45 seconds in, it's sort of, wait a minute, I might know this, and by the time the chorus rolled in, it was like, oh my god, I absolutely remember this tune. And I remember really enjoying it as a kid, so it was like this really cool, like, nostalgic moment. So yeah, I don't know any of the other tunes by name on the album, but that experience suggests to me that this is an era where, you know, some of these tracks, they might actually be familiar to me. And indeed, Mel was saying that she thinks I might be familiar with New Moon on Monday, which, you know, suggests that it might also have gotten some radio play here in the States, so I'm excited to see if that's the case. So yeah, the title, New Moon on Monday, obviously, you know, New Moon speaks to the sort of one of the ways in which humans have cataloged the passage of time and begun to make sense of cycles and sort of like, you know, not only weather but also agriculture and things which we've come to understand as, you know, discrete units of time, whether or not, you know, our current modern day life depends on those same rhythms in the same way. So yeah, new moons suggest the passage of time and the beginning of a new cycle, but also Monday is in some ways the beginning of a new week, so it sort of like doubles that theme a little bit. I know Sunday is technically the beginning of a new week, although, you know, the way our modern society does it is perhaps a little different. But yeah, both of the terms in the constituent phrase suggest a renewal and a passage into the next loop of the cycle or the next segment of the cycle. But obviously that could have nothing to do with sort of the semantic content, or it could just be like an overall conceptual idea which is then sort of like manifested in a very like highly specific way that has nothing to do with like either of those concepts per se. So we'll have to see. Interested to start thinking about the titles as I go through the songs, but yeah, let's get to it. This is New Moon on Monday from the Duran Duran album Seven and the Ragged Tiger, which is 1983. Although I should point out I have a 2003 version, so presumably this is a reissue. Well, it is a reissue, but I wonder if it might not also be a remaster. So either way, this is, as I said, New Moon on Monday by Duran Duran. Oof, that was sharp. I love that. Although I will say, so far, it's not triggering a chord in the same way that the Reflex did. Maybe I can catch a ride. Maybe I can catch a ride? I like how he's playing with his voice a little bit. Right just for the bass. Alright. The chorus it's calling me back. I've heard this one. It's that liquid metal thing, man. Dancing sort of melodic rhythm. And still that crystalline glass up top. His vocal range is crazy. It's like, I keep talking about the vocal quality of his voice, but his range is impressive. percussive rhythms going along with that little dancing melody of the synth. And now sort of like incidental like wind tunnel sounds. It does make me wonder, like, the potential metaphor of that line. I mean, as a prima facie, it's funny, because, like, every satellite is lonely. That's, like, the nature of being a satellite. But assuming he's not talking about a literal satellite, someone that is a satellite to someone else's life, they're not quite in their life, but they're sort of in orbit around their life. Lonely satellite, so maybe it's like they'd like to be closer, but they're just kind of on the edge of another person's life. I don't know. I gotta hear that some more, but I think there are potentially some very interesting themes at play there. Musically, again, like it was the same thing, although to a slightly lesser degree, meaning I probably heard that one less on the radio, or fewer times. But it was the same thing, where once it started, it didn't really trigger a bell, got into the bridge, not really, and then it hit the chorus, it's like, oh wait, no, like this is that, like I remember sitting in the backseat of a car, like hearing this at some point when I was a kid, so, yeah, I do remember hearing that one. I do think it got some radio play here, but, like I said, I don't think as much as the Reflex. That one, when that started, it was like, oh my god, I must have heard this, a dozen times as a kid, but then not for 35 years after that, so. Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. As I said, I'd like to re-listen to it and maybe let some of the lyrics bake into my brain a little more, because, I think there might be some interesting stuff at play there. Let me know if you got an angle on that. Let me know if there's a, aspect of the sonics that I didn't touch on that you'd like to comment on. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I really do appreciate it. All you Duran people are among the most awesome people that I've encountered since I started doing YouTube videos, and I started doing DJ mixes on my other channel as far back as like 2014 or something like that. So yeah, like I've met some very cool people on YouTube over the years, but you guys are some of the very best, and just very positive and supportive, and some of you have checked out other videos I've done, and other types of musical reactions, even some of my DJ mixes. So yeah, big ups to all the Duranis out there. You are awesome people. Thank you for watching and listening. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.